What do a warlock, a sorcerer, and a bard have in common?
They're all spellcasters.
Yes, but aside from that,
They're all charisma based.
yes, but...
There is a hag subclass for them.
Thanks. So keep watching, because today we are going to talk about them. Hello adventurers, and welcome to a new episode of News from Arcadia. This is Marco from the Emerald Island. Before anything else, don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. Today we are going to talk about the subclasses of the hag by Jessica Markrum. You can find the article of MCDM Arcadia number 8. As usual, I have a guest. Today is Agnes, the warlock. Hello Agnes.
Hello, Marco.
Agnes, what are today's subclasses?
The warlock have patron, the wicked witch sorcerer's origin, and the bardic college of grandmother's tales.
You are a hag patron warlock, right?
It's the reason why you asked me to be here today.
Very well. Is a hag powerful enough to become a patron?
Oh, gods, how green you are. Of course she is. And we are talking about at least covens or even grandmothers.
Of course, of course.
And depending on the fact that your patron is an entire coven or a single grandmother, and which type of grandmother, you are going to get different powers.
So, in your case, what is your patron?
A coven?
Very well, let's talk about this. What are the powers they grant you?
First of all, I could learn spells which you don't usually see in the hands of a warlock. Stuff like hideous laughter, or divination, or even gas.
Powerful spells, I can see.
And vicious mockery! You really don't want to go on our bad side.
Very well. So, more spells. And then?
Well, the first time I went into combat, I changed aspect. My hand grew in size, became gnarled, and then long claws grew from my hands. I caused everyone within 30 feet of myself to make a wisdom saving throw not to become frightened. Even my allies had to do. It was fun. And I was able to use my charisma bonus, both to hit and for damage. On top of this, those razor-sharp claws caused 2d8 points of damage.
2d8? That's even more than a great axe.
Yeah, right? I did it in my first combat. First level. It was insane.
I wonder what you got in the following levels.
When I reached the 6th level, I learned to create a lesser hag's eye.
Which is...
It's an eye, of course. What do you think it is? I kept it in a pendant. A couple of times it saved our skins, thanks to its ability to see in the invisible, even though during a fight, an enemy understood the power of the pendant and destroyed it, causing me 3d8 points of psychic damage. Those things are fragile.
Are they?
Yeah, they have armor class 10. Just one hit point.
They are fragile indeed. What other powers did you obtain?
At level 10, my claws started to inflict 2d8 additional psychic damage and 3d8 more for those who were frightened by me. The first time I used it against an orc, I ripped it apart. Poor orc.
How long are those claws going to last?
Initially, they lasted for only 1 minute. After level 10, they lasted for as many minutes as my levels. And during that time, I couldn't be charmed or frightened.
Did you get your capstone power?
No, not yet. Hopefully, my next adventure will be enough. But the coven told me something.
I'm listening.
They explained me that I will eventually learn to float my hag's eye within 100 feet of myself and up to 15 feet of height. And during a fight, I will be able to move it quite fast. 30 feet without even thinking about it. And as a bonus action, I will be able to cast spells from the eye itself.
This seems very beholderish.
Yes, probably we learned that from them. In any case, I will be able to use an action to cause the eye to explode and inflict 40 points of psychic damage to all the creatures within 60 foot of myself. Or half if they succeeded in a wisdom saving throw.
Let's move to the sorcerer subclass, the wicked witch.
Oh, yeah. Once I had the pleasure to fight alongside one of them.
Was she related to an hag?
Of course, Viviana. She was the daughter of one of the hags of my coven, a green hag.
And how did she fight?
First of all, she had a bunch of spells I usually don't see in sorcerers. Bane, Hideous Latha, Animal Messenger, Mirror Image, many others.
Interesting. Anything else?
Yes, one day after a long rest, we knew that we were going to face a dragon, an adult one, and our rogue Ronnie was going to have a tough time resting the frightful presence.
And
And Viviana simply walked to him and said, "You see, you should not be so afraid of the dragon." It was enough. He had the advantage on being frightened until our next long rest.
well, I'm sure that was handy. Did she show anything else?
We had to deal with some other hags at some point, and for some reason she was very good at talking with them, having advantage on all charisma checks with them. Moreover, she was able to talk with fey creatures in Sylvan, which is something you don't see often.
Any other power?
Sure, if someone had the bad idea of casting spells at her or at some of us, she used her reaction to cast the spell back at the caster.
That's powerful. Was she able to use it on any spell?
Nah, only on spells which used an attack roll or caused a saving throw. Moreover, she had to spend sorcery point to cast it.
Seems reasonable. Something more?
Well, she was able to enchant small and medium objects and make them fly. She made me fly on the barrel. Can you believe it?
I have no problem in believing it.
Anyway, I was able to fly the barrel. It had 60 feet of flying movement, and she explained to me that I was immune to being charmed or frightened too.
And did you ever see her capstone ability?
Nah, she was not powerful enough. But she had a northern sister, Amelia, and she was powerful enough for that. And we fought alongside her.
What happened?
These cultists ambushed us and started throwing spells. They had clerics and wizards, so quite an assortment of them.
And
First, Amelia conjured two replicas of herself. They acted with her, so I thought they were illusions. But no, they started casting spells, real ones. No more than third level spells, but still it meant 2 more spells per round. And then Amelia started replicating all the spells that we were casting at us. Of course, she had to spend sorcery points equal to the level of the spell, but still, first a fireball, then spirit guardians, then a lightning bolt.
I'm sure your enemies were surprised.
You can bet your gold on that. Eventually they flew away and we were able to complete our mission.
And what can you tell me about the College of Grandmother's Tales?
Well, who could resist the power of a good horror story?
Not me for sure.
Anyway, I had the pleasure, or the horror, to go fight along with Maple from the Bardic College of Grandmother's Tales.
Did she tell horror stories?
You can bet your gold on that. Indeed, when she joined the college, she received the Book of Fairy Tales as her spellcasting focus.
Well, not much of a power.
Well, those stories could really bite at you. First of all, she learned the poison spray cantrip.
Nice, even though not world-wrecking.
That's not all. She could use a bardic inspiration die to poison a creature. The creature had to do a constitution saving throw and take damage equal to the bardic die plus her charisma modifier. If it fails, or half if it succeeded, and if it failed, it was also poisoned.
Useful.
And it's not finished yet. Maple explained to me that the power grew with her. When she reached the 5th level, if the creature failed, it also fell prone. At 10th, in addition, a failure would reduce its speed to 0. Even though she hadn't reached it yet, she explained to me that at the 15th level, that power would cause a creature to become incapacitated.
Well, I'm sure such a bard could bring down a dragon with this.
Yeah, Maple did tell me that she knew some bards who actually did that, but that's not all.
What else?
She had just reached the 3rd level, and she and her party were ambushed by a band of goblins. Willie, the wizard, was surrounded by them.
Not the best place for a wizard.
Surely not. But Maple was within 30 feet of him, so she pointed to Willie and told a short horror story about him.
You were surrounded by goblins and she told an horror story?
Yeah, crazy, right? No more than 20 words, just an action. And I don't remember what she said, even though it still gives me shivers when I think about it.
And what happened then?
She seemed to be telling the story to the goblins, even though she was speaking in common, and all of them had to do a wisdom saving throw.
And what was the effect of that?
All those failed became frightened of Willie.
That was a nice way of saving him. Did she tell you other stories?
Sure, Maple was always full of stories, not that you always wanted to listen to them. Anyway, she told me that when she reached the 6th level, she was able to use an action to summon a spectral witch in the resemblance of her granny. She also told me that the first time she did it, she scared the hell out of her companions. Of course, Maple always had a wicked smile while telling her stories.
And did she already acquired her capstone power?
Yeah, Maple was a powerful bard.
And what was the effect?
Well, when she told her stories, like the one on Willie, she could affect creatures within 30 feet instead of 15.
That's a nice increase of power.
And moreover, as a reaction, she could use her poisonous words against one of the frightened creatures, inflicting all the facts I told you before.
That's impressive. So thank you, Agnes, for your stories. This is Marco from the Emerald Island, and this is News from Arcadia. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you want more content like this, subscribe. And if you have thoughts and ideas on these subclasses, write your thoughts in the comments.